Greetings and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the narcissist's many lives and dirty secrets. Oh yeah, this is a good one. So here's the way I see it. Because we know the narcissist wears many masks and they create many false personas and all of those things. But overall, I think this kind of boils down to the fact that the narcissist basically lives perpetually, like day in, day out, three lives. Three different, distinct, unique lives. Now, within that, let me just say the mask they make is tailor made, a custom fit for each particular person and situation. So, in that sense, they're just a chameleon. They don't really have any core identity ever. They just come and go and change and morph into whatever it is they need to. But overall, sort of in general, putting the masks, individual masks on the shelf, there's basically three lives they're always living with this chameleon, moldable facades sprinkled in there. And that is they have the public life, they have the personal life, and then they have the secret life. So we're going to take these in order. Number one is the public life. The public life is the person that you thought you were getting. It's the person that you first saw, you first experienced, wherever it is that you saw them. But let's just put like dating sites, the godforsaken things on the shelf, social media, let's put it on the shelf. At some point, you started to meet them in real life. And maybe you just flat out met them in real life to begin with. You thought in that moment, there's a person you saw, there's a person you were attracted to. You liked them for some reason. And you start to, because we all are investigators to some degree, especially if we're interested in someone, right? No shame and no harm in being a little bit investigative of someone that you might be interested in. Because you want to spot red flags and see if there's anything just crazy that you don't like about this person. Let me, this is kind of funny and it's off topic, but let me give you an example. An individual um, I met a while back, and I wouldn't say that I had interest, but it was just, you know what I'm talking about, like the vaguest, just mildly curious in this person, like maybe I would talk to and approach, maybe. And then I see the person pull in one day um, in a parking place, and she has bumper stickers, and one of the bumper stickers says unhinged and feral. And then another sticker was the devil horns. You know, rock and roll, but they were devil horns. And in any event, that's about all I needed to see. I don't want to date somebody who's unhinged and feral. That means it's another I can't stand men, I hate men, da 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 da. I'm an independent woman, I do my own nonsense. You don't want any part to play with that. I only mention it because it's funny, but it's also because those are the things that you first see. Everyone's a little bit of an investigator at first. When you met the narcissist, you were putting pieces together. Like, how do they dress? Am I attracted to them? Do they have children? How do they handle talking to people? What are they like? They have a sense of humor. You're just sizing them up a little bit. And the narcissist sizes us up at a very high level because this is what they do for a living. But you do the same thing at a reasonable, healthy way. What you thought you saw, that's the public life of the narcissist. I'll just give you an example of what I saw. Drop comments below on what you did. I saw somebody who seemed to really enjoy life, seemed to be happy. Stark contrast to things I dealt with in the past, which were just very, very unhappy, miserable people. Didn't, as it turns out, of course, that's what the narcissist really is. But seemed to be happy, to really get along with people, outgoing but nothing crazy, an infectious kind of laugh. I just thought the person seemed like they had a kind of a zeal for life. They enjoyed doing things. They liked food. They liked to go places. This would be someone that would just be I don't want to say a good time, and you know what I'm saying, not in that way, but genuinely enjoyable and fun to be around. That sounded great to me. I saw somebody who I thought was at least relatively attractive, at least somewhat, and near my age and had a similar situation in life and obviously geographically in the same location. And these are all the things. They seemed to get along well with people. They laughed, they joked, but they were courteous. Pretty much what you want to get into on paper, based on appearances alone. And that's the trap we find. That's what we find with most people. And I say this not frequently enough, but I do in personal conversations. It is not who a person is in public that you need to worry about. It's not who they are in public that is the real them necessarily. You only know someone the way they are behind closed doors. That's who a person really is. And I'm so fed up with it, and I'm sure you guys are too. I'm telling you, what you see in public from a person most times today is simply not who they really are, to lesser and greater extents. With the narcissist, it's absolutely nothing. It's absolutely nothing the same. So you have a genuine, real person if who they are in public matches with who they are behind closed doors, and they're the same person in both places. Yeah, everybody is a little bit different. Maybe you carry yourself a little bit differently, but it's not this big falsehood. It's not this big facade. The public persona is what you thought you were getting. It's what I was sucked into. It's what you were sucked into. Usually a happy, gregarious, zeal for life, likes to do this and gets along with people and is courteous and kind. And that's the public life of the narcissist. And I have made videos of this. This is one of my better ones, I think. If you want to go look at, the narcissist mission is to fool the world and themselves, because that is what it is. These people, their public persona, their entire mission in life is to fool all the world into thinking there's something completely different. And they even gaslight themselves into believing there's something different to a degree. So number one, you got that public life. The thing you saw, what most people see, and what you thought you were getting. Like I said, you only know someone for real behind closed doors. And that's where the second life comes in. The personal life of the narcissist. Simplest way I can say it is, this is the narcissist unmasked. Not fully unmasked, because I really don't think you see the narcissist at that level until the end. When it's over, when they know it's over, and then their chief priority is, they're not hiding anything anymore. You just see the nasty, vitriolic, disgusting of a person. But the personal life is the one unmasked. And what that usually looks like is, well, this is the one that you got. Let's put it that way. You got suckered by the public persona. Now, what you really got was the personal life of the narcissist. You got to see, in other words, what it was like day in and day out. All these wild roller coaster highs and lows of, they're depressed and then they're happy and then they're depressed and then they're nice and then they're vicious, and then all that just chaotic storm, whirlwind of emotions and things that they do. That's what you were getting day in, day out, right? Did you have good days with the narcissist? Were there times when they were kind? Were there times when they bought you things? Were there stretches to some degree where it felt like a real relationship? Yeah, of course. Most of those were just breadcrumbs. Some of them were the narcissist being just a okay person for a period of time. If it was all bad all the time, nobody would ever be there. No one would ever stay if it literally was just bad every day, every second, all the time. They have to breadcrumb you, and they have to also, the narcissist is still a human being at some level, some level. They still do like to have fun sometimes. There are still days where they're in a decent mood. It still happens, right? But what you basically saw was this person that you're like, they look a little bit like the person I thought they were, but what's all this other stuff? And you start to have questions during the deval. And then as time goes on, you see less and less of that person that was from the public life. And what you see more and more and more is the mask coming down. More bad days, more criticism, more abuse, more of those head scratcher moments where you're like, God almighty, what did I just see? What was that? I've never seen anyone do something like that in my life. Started to see more and more of those times, didn't you? And as it went on, the good times and the bad times started to um, go in more of a negative direction. Started out like this, right? The public persona. And as you got more and more into the personal life of the narcissist, behind closed doors, it did this, didn't it? And it shifted and shifted and shifted till the bad times were overwhelmingly outweighing the good times. And that's what happens in every narcissistic relationship. They push it till it pops. They blow up the balloon till it bursts. That's how it works. And that's the personal life. Welcome to the personal life of the narcissist. This is what most people never, ever, ever see. The people at work never get to see these awful unmasked moments. They never get to see the rage fits. The people throwing things across the room, storming out, cursing, screaming, telling you are a bleeping mother effing S&F and psychopath as they walk out the door to go see somebody that you didn't know about. The personal life of the narcissist, the one where one day they're buying you a new pair of shoes, probably because they did something behind your back. I've talked about that. If you ever get this overwhelmingly awesome behavior out of the narcissist out of nowhere, it's probably because they did something behind your back and they feel guilty about it. I'm telling you that happens. It does. But the personal life is one day it's a nice pair of tennis shoes. The next day, maybe they wanted to go out to dinner with you. And then for 5 days after that, it was abuse and silent treatment, stonewalling and depression, and they're under their blankets half the day. And that's a world no one in public ever sees. Very seldom. Unless you have a total narcissistic collapse where they hit rock bottom for one of the many times in their lives, then it might carry over. And people at work or in public might be like, what's up with this person today? Are you okay? Are you all right? Or they call off from work, or they don't show up to church because they fake going to church and they fake being believers sometimes. They don't show up for a month. Most of the time, though, the world doesn't see the personal life of the narcissist. You did. You did behind closed doors. So in other words, there's the public life that everyone else thinks, that everyone sees, that you saw, that suckered you in. Then there's the personal life where it's this roller coaster ride where the bad behavior starts to outweigh the good behavior, worse and worse. You see things no one in public ever is going to see, ever, barring catastrophic event. And those are the two lives that exist most of the time for the narcissist. You are privy to seeing the first one. You are privy, if you got into a relationship, or cursed, rather, to see the personal life, the one that most people don't. Then there's one remaining. There is the life of the narcissist that basically only the narcissist knows about. Not even their primary supply to a degree. Maybe you catch on, as time goes on, you catch on to things more and more, but there's a whole other world that literally only the narcissist knows about, and that is their secret life. This is the life composed of all the cheating, all the little texting conversations that they're having with past exes, people from 10 years ago, someone they just met at the grocery store they exchanged numbers with, a friend from work that you've got maybe some doubts about but weren't too skeptical of or didn't know anything about. All those little conversations that they have on dating apps and other platforms. And guys, let me tell you something. I have seen with my own two eyes narcissists, the narcissist, while in another relationship after yours, and the way that they do things on their phone. Don't even ask me, but I've seen it. Okay? Trust me. The way that they can secretly pull up apps and send messages this long, and then they're Xing out of this and moving this, and then they're back on their text. They're hiding apps in their phone. And that's when you see, just to catch a glimpse of these big dialogues they have. They don't send the primary supply big dialogues like this. That's in the early stage. That's in the love bomb only. That's for love bomb only purposes. What you ended up getting most of the time were these little snippets or being ignored as time went on. So you have these big monologues, and then they're and then they're back on their regular texting, probably texting the main supply. That's what goes on in the cheating. That's what goes on in the secret life of the narcissist. A bunch of people you have no idea, you know nothing about, and the people they're communicating with, they don't know who they are either. They mostly think that this is the public person. They're getting love bombed, or they're seeing this wonderful, gregarious, public life person. That's who the people in the background are seeing most of the time. Maybe they know the narcissist in a personal way. Maybe they went through the ringer. Maybe they're still in the trauma bond and they're ex. But for the most part, the only person knowing that this life, this secret life is going on is the narcissist, not their primary supply and not even their backup supplies. Only the narcissist knows about all this treacherous because you can't know what they're doing. You don't know how many people someone are talking to behind closed doors. You don't know how many people are open on their apps. You don't know how many exes. You can't know. That's the treacherous world we live in today. That's part of why this world is an epic disaster. And dating is finished, and there's no trust. And why you shouldn't even, honestly, in my opinion, worry about trying to ever find anybody. Worry about yourself, work on your own life, enjoy it, get close to God. And if someone falls into your lap, that's good, take it. If they don't worry about it. You will waste your time, you will spin your wheels, because most people today, guys, are out there doing this stuff I'm describing in the narcissist secret life. Most people are talking to gobs and oodles of people you know nothing about. And I'm not a digress. This is the secret life, their cheating life, the secret texting life. This is the life where they're making backups for backups. I've got backups for my backups. Like I heard, and like I know they do. This is that life, and no one knows, not you and not the backups, nobody else knows the extent of any of this except the narcissist. This is why I also titled this The Dirty Secrets. All of these are secrets within the secret life. These are the 1.5 million disgusting, depraved things that they're doing. And only the narcissist knows about these things. So let's do a quick recap, and then I want to hit on something before I close this one. There are 3 lives the narcissist lives all the time. The public life, number 1, that everybody sees, that most of the world sees, that you saw, that you thought you were getting, that was so appealing. Probably what you thought was a good, wonderful person who would be a lot of fun, enjoyable to be around, a good companion. And so does most of the world, because that's what they live to do for the world, the public life. Then there's the personal life that only those people, such as kids or romantic partners or siblings, parents, get to see. Only the people behind closed doors get to see. And that's the one where the mask slips and the evil comes out, and there's Jekyll and Hyde and the roller coaster ride. And they're good to you, then they're bad to you, then they're good to you, then they're bad to you. Wishy-washy. Ugh. That's the personal life, because that's the real them, even though it's still being covered up. And only in the personal life do you see the mask fully drop at the very end when they know you're gone and their mission is to inflict as much punishment as possible. That's when you get those remarks of like, there's darkness in you, you're deeply disturbed, you're evil, you'll do anything to hide who you really are. They'll tell you those things. And what they're actually doing is telling on themselves. That's what you get in the personal life. Then there is that secret life, the one that only you really know, only they really know about, not you, not the backup supplies, not the people at work, not the people at church or in public or in any group. That's when they're doing all their shady shenanigans. That's where they're living all their secrets. That's where they're compiling the dirty, rotten things that few people ever get to see. These are the ones, though, guys. This is what I want to conclude with. God sees all of this. God sees the public, the personal, the secret, and most importantly, every secret thing will be brought to the light. So I said that only the narcissist knows the secret life that they're living. And that's true in a human sense. But you better believe one thing. God Almighty is keeping tabs on everything they did. Every conversation they had behind your back, everything they stole, every little time they gaslit you, everything they hid, everything they thought they were getting away with, and they loved it. And it was so sneaky when they're sitting next to you and they're texting somebody else and they're high on supply because they're getting one over on you, or they're setting someone up to leave you, or you're on a date with them and they're getting a text from some other person you knew nothing about. They love it, right? And they're getting away with it, right? Except they're not. Because the most important person to see all of this is seeing it. Every one of those things they do is being marked and tabbed by God. So, what all did the narcissists really do behind your back? You don't know. You don't want to know. And you never will know. But trust and believe you don't want to. None of us want to see all the things they were really doing behind our backs. Everything you saw was the tip of the iceberg. Everything they told you was just a snippet of the truth. And the true depths, who can fathom it? You want to know the stuff they're capable of? Go back and see my last video. No blow is too low for the narcissist. But rest assured one thing, God sees all these lives. He sees the public, the personal, the secret, and He is taking notes on all of it. And one day, whether they believe this or they don't, they're going to answer for it. And every secret thing will be brought to light, and they will stand before God's tribunal, and they will give an account of their lives, kicking and screaming the whole way there. And they'll have to face it, and they'll have to reckon with it, and there will be no hiding from it. And that life will come back to haunt them for the rest of eternity. So, guys, understand when you are dealing with these people, there is a whole myriad of lives and lies at stake. The narcissist will die with so many secrets you couldn't even begin to know them, but God does. So, guys, I hope this was helpful and interesting to you. Trust and believe the narcissist has many lives and many dirty secrets. And every time you're dealing with one of these people, it's Pandora's box. You don't know a fraction of it. So anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful to you. I'll come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.